In the previous video, I showed you how to close a form after a certain amount of responses. So our form is created here, and we have 2 responses so far. But in our app script, we say, hey, however many responses there are, if it's over 3, stop taking responses. But what if you wanted to set this number, say, in a cell, and what if it wasn't counting the responses, but let's say guess, where every single time someone fills in the form, they're filling in a number, not just the number of responses, but the number that's adding up here. How do we do this? So we need to do a couple of different things. We've already set up our app script and our trigger, so we don't need to do that again, but I will go over that, I think, at the end of this video, just to make sure that you know how to do that if you haven't seen the other video. But let's go to our form and add another question and say, guess. And this is going to be a short answer, just a number. If we refresh the sheet, we now have your name and number of guests. So let's say Andrew, and we're bringing in 3 guests. Submit. Fred is bringing in 4. Submit. And over here on our sheet, we can see the guests are lining up here. Let's submit another response. And it's closed, right? Because it's still based on the response count. So let's edit this app script. And we're going to need one extra thing. Let's get a count. Here we will say number of guests equals sum. And we're just going to sum up this C column. So right now it's 7. And let's say we want our limit to be 10. If total guests here become more than 10, we don't want any more responses. So let's go to our app script and start editing this. So we don't need response count anymore. We actually need guest count. We're going to get the guest count not from the form responses, but actually from the spreadsheet itself. So we're going to go spreadsheet app.getActive spreadsheet, which is the total workbook that we're working in. Get sheet by name, and over here let's make sure we have the correct sheet. Count is what we need. Count. Get range. Let's make sure we get the correct range. We're going to go to count. We're going to get B1, and we need to get value. Now we need to make sure that guest count, if that guest count is greater than this number, actually we can probably even do greater than or equal to is probably better. So let's get guest limit. And again, we're going to do the same thing we did with guest count, but we're just going to go to a different range. Let's copy paste that, but not B1. We're looking at B2 here. So let's change B1 here to B2. So again, we're just going to go to the spreadsheet app using the function built in here, getting the entire workbook, getting the sheet count, called count, getting the range B2, and getting the value within that cell. Now, if the guest count is greater than or equal to the guest limit, we need to make sure this is guest limit here. Save that. Then we will turn off our form. So let's go back and turn on our form. We are now turned on. If I refresh this, we can respond to this form. So let's say Linda is bringing in 5 people. I click submit, and we see here 12 guests over the limit. And let's see if we can submit another response. This form is no longer accepting responses, so it has closed correctly. Fantastic. That's it. That's how to get a number from your sheet into AppScript and check it when we're trying to close that form. Now, just to refresh, if you haven't watched the original video, we need like 3 things. We need the form, we need this function check form, and we need to go over to triggers and add a trigger. We've already created this trigger. It's here. I'm going to go and delete it here for now, but I can easily add it. I'm going to show you how to add trigger right now. Click add trigger. We're going to choose which function. If there's only one function, it's the only one here. If you have other functions, you have to select it. From spreadsheet is the event source, and event type is on form submit. So every time a form is submitted, this function is going to be triggered. And that's the whole process here. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you are subscribed to Better Sheets here on YouTube. If you're not, go ahead and do it now, because we got tons more videos coming out and making your spreadsheets way better.